The Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis remains the closest the world has come to nuclear war. It began on October 14, 1962, when a U-2 reconnaissance plane photographed Soviet missile installations in Cuba. These nuclear weapons, capable of striking most of the United States, were placed there in response to American missiles stationed in Turkey. President John F. Kennedy declared a naval quarantine around Cuba and demanded the immediate removal of the missiles. Over the next 13 days, tensions escalated as both nations prepared for war. Soviet ships approached the blockade, and American forces reached DEFCON 2, the second highest state of readiness short of war. During the crisis, a Soviet B-59 submarine found itself targeted by U.S. depth charges. Armed with a nuclear torpedo, the submarine's captain Valentin Grigorievich Savitsky and political officer Ivan Semyonovich Maslenikov agreed to launch. However, Vasily Arkhipov, the second-in-command, refused to authorize the strike. His decision prevented what could have been the start of World War III. The crisis ended with a compromise. The Soviets removed their missiles from Cuba, and the U.S. secretly agreed to dismantle its missiles in Turkey. The Cuban Missile Crisis demonstrated the critical importance of diplomacy and the risks of brinkmanship in a nuclear world. The Stanislav Petrov Incident. On September 26, 1983, Soviet early warning systems reported an alarming sight: 5 incoming U.S. missiles. At the height of the Cold War, such an attack would have likely triggered a devastating Soviet counterstrike. The man responsible for responding to this alert was Stanislav Petrov, a Soviet lieutenant colonel. Protocol required Petrov to immediately notify his superiors, who would almost certainly have launched a retaliatory strike. Yet, Petrov hesitated. Petrov reasoned that a real U.S. attack would involve hundreds of missiles, not just 5. He also noted that the satellite system responsible for the alert was newly deployed and might be unreliable. Trusting his instincts, Petrov reported the incident as a false alarm. His judgment was correct. The alert was caused by sunlight reflecting off clouds, a rare optical phenomenon. By defying protocol, Petrov likely averted a global nuclear catastrophe. Despite his heroism, he received little recognition during his lifetime, as the incident remained classified for years. The Broken Arrows. Broken arrow is the military term for incidents involving the accidental loss, theft, or destruction of nuclear weapons. Since 1950, there have been 32 documented cases, each highlighting the risks inherent in managing such destructive devices. One of the most infamous cases occurred in 1966, when a US B-52 bomber collided with a refueling plane over Palomares, Spain. 4 hydrogen bombs fell to the ground. 2 exploded, scattering radioactive material across the area. Fortunately, the nuclear cores did not detonate. Another notable incident occurred in 1958 off the coast of Georgia, where a Mark 15 nuclear bomb was accidentally dropped into the waters near Tybee Island. Despite extensive searches, the bomb remains unrecovered to this day. These incidents reveal the potential for catastrophic accidents and underscore the need for strict controls over nuclear arsenals. The 1979 NORAD computer glitch. On November 9, 1979, operators at the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, were startled by warnings of a massive Soviet missile attack. Alarms blared, and nuclear forces were placed on high alert. The warning appeared genuine. Multiple Soviet missiles were supposedly inbound. Bombers were scrambled, and missile silos prepared for launch. However, after a tense investigation, it was discovered that the alert had been triggered by a training tape accidentally loaded into the live system. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth explorations of history and technology.